everybody. Welcome to Hollywood Live. Oh, this is another one you just don't want to miss, and I'm so glad you're here. My guest today is a pianist, record recorder, record producer, songwriter, musical arranger. He has just gone through all of the genres of music. Lots of Grammy nominations. I think he's won 5, including this year. And please just say hello to the inimitable Robert Glasper. How are you?
Inimitable. I don't even know what that means, but it sounded amazing.
Oh, it was one that they used to use back in the day with people like Ella Fitzgerald and stuff like that, and Miles Davis. And so, and I want to talk about that because I kind of see you as our new Miles Davis, since you have managed to collaborate with all of these different genres. We're going to get into that. But first of all, congratulations on everything, because we talked to you right after you won that Grammy back in February.
Hello, people.
Hello. Congrats.
Thank you.
Our first question is going to be virtual. On screen straight ahead of you, Tanya.
Here we go. Robert, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You really, just after talking with Terry Lynn and the group that just left, you are part of the whole new horizon of jazz musicians. And you have really spread this word to, I hear teenagers, because I have some listening to your music, and I'm so excited. What is it that you have done to really bring in all of these young people?
The only thing I feel like I've done to bring music to young people is just play music that's my age. Because a lot of people, when they play jazz, they're trying to play music that's 40, 50, 60 years prior to them. And that's not necessarily their story. So I study jazz. I'm aware of the history, but I also have to tell my own story. You know what I mean? So by being present and by acknowledging what's around me and being in my vibe and being influenced by what's now, I'm making history. And I'm influencing younger people. The same way Roy Hargrove did to me, I'm doing to younger people. So it's just important to never forget the present and who you are, because if you do that, you erase history. The people that we love so much in jazz were being who they were in that moment. You know what I mean? So we have to be who we are in our moments as well.
Thank you. Congratulations. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to be in person.
Yeah.
So, and now everybody's talking about the Grammy. So what happened with Chris Brown? I mean, just tell me what happened there.
Okay. Well, secretly, the real thing that happened is he saw a video of me dancing and he got a little jealous. I had my shirt off. He saw my Instagram, my emoji thing on Instagram. Saw me dancing, and he wished that he could, do that. So I think that was mainly that was the big thing. Secondly, when I won the Grammy for Best R&B Album,
right
at that point, I just got all these texts coming through my phone, but I'm at the Grammys, like I'm there on the televised version watching the Grammys, and my phone keeps going off, but I'm just like ignoring, because I know people are probably just saying congratulations from what I just won. And I finally looked at my phone, and it was like, Chris Brown said this, blah, 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 blah. I was like, what? And then I looked, and I was trending. I was like the 5th or 4th thing trending, I was like, what is going on? And then I saw the comments he made. He was pretty mad that I won. I guess he figured he should have won. You know what I mean? And so he was,
apparently, yeah.
But words, just like, I think he was just in the moment, was mad and was going off on Instagram and stuff and Twitter or whatever. So it was pretty much that. And I saw it, and people always like, did you get mad? And I was like, no, because I immediately knew what it was going to be. When I saw that, I was kind of like, yes.
I know, because you were trending, and I hear that it added some money to the coffer too, because of all of the stuff that happened.
Absolutely, and I just played it cool, and I let him calm down, and then he ended up reaching out to me before I even said. I never said anything. He just reached out to me and apologized, and then I hit him back, and we had a nice conversation on DMs. You know what I mean?
Good.
And then
yeah.
I made the T-shirt out of it. and I raised some money for some kids for the community service for a community music center in New Orleans. You know what I mean? So it all worked out.
Yeah, it did. I actually heard that you got enough off the t-shirts to get a new car. I don't know. Was it a Bentley, Buick? What was it?
No, I made that. I was just joking with the TMZ guy, but I was like, he was like, how much money was it? I was like, enough to buy a nice car.
Yeah, of course, that came from TMZ, and they're everywhere. I'm like, these people never sleep. They've got cameras in your bed, in your bathroom. So just don't do anything that you don't want out there. Right. But on the other note, you have done in Northern California, Napa Valley, which of course is where we get all of our great wines from all over the world. And you've created a Blue Note Jazz Festival. And I got to tell you, some friends of mine went last year. They said it was off the charts. No pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. So it stems from my residency that I do at the Blue Note Jazz Club in New York. I do a residency every October where I play literally 5 to 6 weeks straight. And I have special guests throughout every week. And Dave I've done like 5 of those, 4 or 5 years of those things at the Blue Note in October. And we call it Robtoberfest. And a lot of it, Dave would just come out and kind of like host my shows with me and hang out and blah, blah, blah. And last year they were like, yo, you and Dave and your music and all the guests you bring in, we're like, we should make this a festival, So it kind of out like that. And the cool thing about it is we try to keep the vibe and the intimacy of the Blue Note Club, but at a festival, you know what I mean? So it's really cool because we have all these amazing artists coming through, you know what I mean? Mary J. Blige.
What's the lineup this year?
Yeah, the headliners are Nas, Mary J. Blige, and Chance the Rapper. I also have De La Soul as my special guest one of the nights. I have Layla Hathaway's special guest one of the nights with my band specifically, Bilal. But we also have Gary Clark Jr. and so many other great artists. Gary Clark Jr. We have Anderson .Paaks coming through. You know what I mean? It's just going to be amazing. Can't wait.
Well, the thing about you, Robert, that I absolutely love, and the fact that that you and like folks like Kamasi Washington, you've kept jazz alive for this younger generation, and they are listening. Believe me. I mean, I've got some college students in the family. They play your music more than anybody else's. I thought you should know that.
I love it.
Yeah, they really do, and they love it. So, but all that being said, you take somebody like you've worked with, or almost like Miles Davis, how he used to do the collaborations. Because on one hand, you'll have like a Herbie Hancock that you've worked with, and then on the other hand, like Nas or something like that. How do you bring all of these people together? And then I want to ask you about the 50 years of hip hop too, because it's kind of all the same thing.
Yeah, I've done a lot of, so in each genre I play, I've like lived in that world of those genres. So like when I was playing in jazz bands, I was playing in some of the best, with the best guys, the best people. Like I was in Roy Hargrove's band for a long time. I was in Christian McBride's band and, Nicholas Payton, a lot of great jazz artists. But then when I was doing hip hop stuff, I was touring with Q-Tip. I was touring with Mos Def, touring with Common, you know what I mean? And then when in the R&B world, I toured with Maxwell for like 5 years and, and doing stuff with Ledisi and Layla and Bilal and even Aretha Franklin, it goes on and on and on. So I like live in each of these worlds. So therefore, when I express that music or play that music, I think it comes off in a genuine way because I've really done the homework and lived those worlds to really give it some justice. You know what I mean? And I think that's what people hear and feel when I play or when I'm doing each of those genres. You know what I mean? It's a lot about that. And it's 50 years of hip hop now.
I'm trying to figure out what happened here. When everybody started talking, we're celebrating 50 years. I'm like, okay. I was kind of there up in the club in New York. That was that many years ago. I got to tell you something. I am in shock because I remember those clubs and
Were you at the tunnel? Were you at the tunnel?
I wasn't at the tunnel, but
okay.
There was Club 54. There was a few others that
Yeah, for sure.
Grandmaster Flash was, I remember, I think I actually did one of the first stories on Grandmaster Flash. So
Wow.
that's how long I've been doing this. And that's why I'm in shock, because it
Right.
was in the 70s and I was in Boston at the NBC affiliate, and we used to go to New York all the time. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's something going on here, you know? So anyway, we won't talk about how many years it's been, but let's talk a little bit about that 50-year history. So what was your favorite collaboration with a hip hop artist?
Ooh, that is hard one. I would say my most, probably most impactful one where it was like, wow to me, is probably when I did Pimp a Butterfly with Kendrick Lamar. Because that album literally shifted the culture. You know what I mean? It really things. I've been a part of some great albums. You know, I did a lot of albums with Common, a lot of albums, you know, stuff from Mos Def, Lupe Fiasco, a lot of great MCs for sure. But that particular record, it really tilted, you know, everything when it came out. And I was so lucky and blessed to be a part of that album. You know, I played on like 9 songs out of 12 on that record, you know, and it was just such an amazing experience. And where Kendrick was at the time, you know, it still is. He's just like, he's top tier. He's what it is, you know what I mean? And what he's about, you know what I mean? And just everything. It was just such an amazing experience. So I would definitely say that particular thing was like my moment.
Your aha moment there. Yeah. So what do you remember the first hip hop album or record or, you know, the tape that you bought or heard? Do you remember that?
I remember the first hip hop song that made me almost break my neck. Like, what is that? I remember the first hip hop song I became in love with, and it's a Busta Rhymes song called "Still Shining," and Jay Dilla did the beat. He produced it, and it was the music that got me. And the music is it's not your normal hip hop track. Normally, a hip hop track repeats every 2 bars or 4 bars. And sometimes really cool ones repeat 3-bar loops, you know. This one just didn't repeat. It just went through and changed through the whole song musically. And the drums changed, and Busta Rhymes was rapping to the drums, and it was like something I never heard before, and it changed my life, literally.
I can understand, because I got to tell you something. I remember the first time I saw Busta perform. He's still one of my favorites. I cannot explain to people, unless you're there, the amount of, is beyond energy. Is like, you know, there's a level of exuberance and all kinds of stuff that I could get into when he performed. So I know exactly what you're talking about, because that same one hit me just like that as well. He's still I love Buster. He's one of my favorite people. So now, do you remember the very first hip hop show you saw?
The very first hip hop show that I saw. Woo! Yes. I don't remember. It was The Roots, for sure.
Okay.
Because I just moved to New York for college. I'm from Houston, and it was like 1998, and I was in New York, and The Roots were actually doing jam sessions in New York every week. So me going to that jam session, seeing that, when The Roots were playing, Common was on stage, and, you know, I think Macy Gray was on stage, and all these people were there. So that was my first time seeing hip hop live, you know, person was with The Roots, you know. Then after that, I kept going. Bilal was bringing me there to those things, because he's from Philly. He knows The Roots and all the guys.
Right.
You know, and so I started going all the time, and eventually I started sitting in with them and playing with them. And eventually I started playing with The Roots quite often, you know. So that was really my introduction to hip hop and playing hip hop live with a band, Roots.
Well, you certainly have taken it a long way from that particular time in 1998. What would you say your dream collaboration would be now, Robert? I mean, because you've done almost everybody. So I'll give you, you know what, either dead or alive. Who would be your dream collaboration?
Hip hop?
Yes.
Hip hop, Buster. Easy. Buster.
Okay, well, we should make that happen, because I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, I've just been such a fan for such a long time, and I still don't think he gets the, you know, what he deserves as far as just an MC and and how crazy his rhythmic stuff is, and
Yes.
just performing and breath control. It's just so much, and it's like there's nobody like him. You know what I mean?
No, there really isn't. I absolutely agree with you. I've been saying that, and when they did, it was at the Grammys, actually, when they did that 50th, and he came out, and as good as it was, he took it way over the top. I thought he was way over what everybody else was doing.
That's just who he is. What it is, Buster, man. Yeah, absolutely.
No, well, we should make that happen, because that'd be a good one. That would really be a good one. Again, I'm comparing you a little bit to Miles Davis, because I remember, and I have a great Miles Davis story. He actually came to our house when we lived in Boston to watch the Marvin Hagler fight. There's a whole story. Yes. There's a whole story behind that. That was in the 80s. Yes.
Yeah.
And anyway, because like I said, there's a whole story. But I got the chance to really be close to Miles for a while, and then we came out here, and unfortunately he passed away. But when I listened to him, and I listened to a lot of that, and I listened to you, and then all of the collaborations you've done, I'm like, oh yeah, that's who Robert Glasper is. He's our new Miles Davis. What would you say to that?
I mean, I'm honored for anybody to put our names in the same sentence. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely a trailblazer, an icon, somebody I've looked up to. I've actually done a lot of work with his estate. You know what I mean? I scored the movie that Don Cheadle produced and acted in, called Miles Ahead, where he is
so good.
And then also did for Miles' 90th birthday, Sony Records asked me to produce an album kind of remaking his song. So I did an album called Everything's Beautiful. And we did that, and it's all Miles Davis. I was able to take tracks from his original music and take different parts of it and make new songs out of it. So it shows the inspiration of Miles with new songs. And I put different artists on there. I put Erykah Badu on there, Stevie's on there, just a lot of different people are on there. And so, yeah, Miles has definitely been a big influence on my life in many ways. Sure.
Yeah, and it shows, and it's all good, because it's just all good. What can we say? So now you're getting ready you're on tour actually right now too, aren't you? Where can people? What cities are you?
I'm in Atlanta right now.
Okay, but you got other cities that you'll be in. Can you let us know, because everybody sees us?
Oh yeah, well, tomorrow we're flying to Tokyo to do a festival in Tokyo. And after that, I come back home for like a week, and then we go out and do another year. I'm doing an Asia tour, so we're going to Korea and a few other places, that kind of thing. But I'm going to put the rest of the tour, because I'm doing some US run in the beginning, and sometime in June I'm going to do a US run. But we'll post that and stuff. I can't remember all of it. I know I'm going to Chicago. I know Chicago. I know Detroit. I know New York. I know Boston. But there's going to be a few. We'll post them all.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit, what do you see as the uniqueness of your jazz festival, the Blue Note Jazz Festival up in Napa, other than the fact that it's in Napa and it's fabulous? What else is unique about it?
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is we're bringing all these big names to a very small place, a small town. And the uniqueness of it is it's a festival, but it's a small festival. So it's not 50,000 people. You know what I mean? It's literally like we're capping it to like 10,000 people a day. So it still kind of feels intimate. You know what I mean? Another cool thing is with all these amazing artists that we have, we keep it to where the jam sessions are very possible with each other. So you might see somebody's show, but then you go over to the next stage, you might see that same person over there jump on stage with this person over here, because I feel like we're all in the same place. That's what I would do if I was at the Blue Note Jazz Club in New York. I always just bring people up, and we, it's a community, it's a family, and we just make up stuff in the moment and make art in the moment. And there's a lot of art making in the moment at Napa, and everybody's cool and open to it, and you know what I mean? So you never know what you're going to see. And you never know what's going to happen, especially when Dave Chappelle's in the building. You never know what's going to happen.
Right. Is Dave coming back this year?
Oh, absolutely. The Dave is hosting it, for sure.
Oh, okay, good. Did he? Now, who hosted last year? Dave did, didn't he?
Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, then we got to be there. Let everybody know how we're going to post on how you can access this and get to it? Will it also be streaming or anything like that once?
No, it won't be streaming. But what we did was we just made payment plan available as well for the 3 days. We have a payment plan because I know some people can't drop that kind of money off top. You know what I mean? So we have a plan where you can still come and enjoy it and just put some money down, and then there's a payment plan for it. But yeah, this thing. What's also cool about this festival is literally like people just pull up to it that you didn't expect to be there. You know what I mean? Like last year, Dave brought out Cat Williams, and like so many different people were just hanging. Nas was there last year, just hanging out.
Right.
Young Jeezy was there, just hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, so there are people that's going to be there, and some people were there hanging out and jumped on stage with us, and so it's really something amazing to see that it's just happening in the moment. Art really happening in the moment that normally would be something you would feel in a smaller space.
Right. And this, of course, is the end of July. Is it the last week in July?
Yes, it's July 28, 29, and 30. Those 3 days. Yes.
We're gonna pump this one up because I know it's gonna be fabulous, and we'll try to get up there ourselves. Robert, thank you so much for all you've done and all you've continued to do. And I don't know, you do so much fun stuff. Is there anything though that's just burning? Is there any particular music right now that you're feeling that you're like, I'm gonna have to do this?
Not off the top of my head. But I'm always looking, got my ears open, I'm always looking to be inspired. So I never completely black out or just cut everything off around me. I try to keep my ears open for things. There's always something happening creative that I can get something from.
Right. Well, as much as you've done, you're going to do a whole lot more, and we really appreciate you, and can't wait to see you up in Napa Valley. Thank you so much. Everybody, that's, of course, the Blue Note Jazz Festival coming up to Napa Valley, and you can do payment plan, because that's what I'm going to do, jump on the payment plan right when I get off of this one. And we will be there, and of course, you've seen some of the festival within this story and this show. So we appreciate you, Robert. We appreciate all of you out there, all of you guys who've been following us for a very, very long time now. Continue, because you really don't want to miss this. Be good to yourself and somebody else. Have a great day.